So, uh, I remember um, in one of your videos, you naming the analogy of that painting where you could either see like a woman looking in the mirror or the old lady, and like kind of having these two. And in that analogy, it's like okay, it seems that way for me. It's like there's two possibly equally valid perspectives here. And
Mm.
here it's like there's like this way of viewing things where I'm the movie screen or awareness, and that's what's here, and everything happens within me. And then there's the perspective of okay, I'm an individual, I'm in a body, and the world is on the outside. um and I can feel those two views there at the same time. They kind of tug on one another. In the meditation that we just did, um, there was the perspective of being the screen in that metaphor, and from this place, is there are there can there be any problems? And the screen is just like totally like peaceful, no, not even answering the question. And then there's this character, like almost something that I can feel up in my body, that's just like, yeah, yeah, I have problems. It's like, can you lose anything? Like, yeah, I can lose a lot. Like, I can die. Like, there's just there is something there that's like it's just like doesn't really get, and both are there. Like, I can see the screens there too, and there's kind of a sense of like, okay, which one of these, like, it does go back and forth, and there's like they're both there. They both seem like they could be equally valid. Like, which one of these do I trust? How do I know for sure that I can trust this view of being the screen?
That's your question, right?
That's the question. Yeah.
Yeah, but there's a third view. So if we take the picture, I don't have it with me. I should keep this by hand just in case. So we're talking about this optical illusion that you see online sometimes, and you look at it, and it's either a young woman or an old man's face,
Mhm.
right? It swaps, and there's the one of the hourglass, and it's two people in like about to kiss, or it's a vase,
Yeah.
right? So we think, oh, it's this or it's that. But there's a third perspective, which is the actual drawing. It's just like it's neither.
Uh,
We've added that onto it,
mm,
right? That those optical illusions, they demonstrate the limitations of mind, and that's what we're talking about here. So if you try to approach this understanding with the mind, you it will always run out because the mind's limited. These optical illusions, they show you the mind is fooled by a simple drawing, very simple drawing of a two black silhouettes. Is it a vase? Is it two people kissing? It's neither. It's a black blob.
mm.
We're adding to it. And this is when I say stop describing. If you stop describing it, it's neither a young man or a young woman or an old man. It's neither a vase or two people kissing. It's just an appearance of consciousness.
Okay, so that it's neither the it's neither the everything occurring within me and me being everything, or it's not that, and it's not me being the body. It's neither of those.
Yeah, they appear and we label them and we appear them, but y- refine it to let's talk about your current experience right now. What's happening right now for you?
There's images, there's sensory sensations.
Yeah. And what
There,
knows them?
it seems like they know themselves. It seems like, let me pause.
Thank you.
Actually, let me
Well,
slow
that's good.
down. Yeah. Yeah, it feels like the vibrations are just happening. The image, the where the images are just happening.
Yeah.
Um, and there's not Right. The knower is not any locatable.
Yeah. So in that direct, you just gave me that description yourself just now. Can there be any problems there? Or
It,
are there any problems there? Not can there, are there any?
mm, I wish I could.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm,
There's
mm.
something there. There's something there. Well, it's like, yeah, there is a contraction in the body. It feels like I don't like this.
Okay.
Like
Look
there's
at the contraction in the body. Look at the contraction in the body. So I'm going to teach you a little practice that I came up with that I really like. It's called wise stories. So I realized one
where's
day
the
that
story is.
wise stories.
Why is the stories okay?
I realized one day that everything I thought was a problem was literally made up of the only five things that appear to a human: words, images, sensations, and emotions that are created by stories. But the three primary elements that us as humans experience, this is mind blowing, are words, images, and sensations.
Mm.
Right. So just now you said there's a sensation in the body. Is that right? Some kind of, well, describe what it was that you said, or that's there
Yeah,
now.
I'm hitting record because I don't want to miss this.
Okay.
Okay.
Right. So go to that place in your body where this thing is,
Mm,
whatever it
mhm,
might be. Have a look at it.
mhm.
Now, are there any words associated with it? There might not be. This is not a trick question. There can be, there doesn't need to
There's
be.
not words. There's images.
Okay. Are there any images?
Yes. Yeah.
So I won't ask you to share them now because we're in a public forum, but are any of those images a problem in and of itself? In and of itself.
It really feels like there are, Joe. It feels like they're a problem.
Okay, so pick the one that's a problem,
Uh-huh.
right? What's the feeling? Because now we look at the sensation. What's the sensation?
Oh, disgust. Like some emotion like disgust and like no, I don't like
Okay,
just
go into the disgust
mhm.
and describe disgust
um
with words.
describing disgust with words.
The one you feel.
Clenching, like clenching on my stomach, like wanting to just like a movement upward, although almost is like wanting to vomit, like just like really nausea.
Okay, so nausea.
Yeah.
So describe one of the sensations of nausea.
Ooh, that's hard. Um, a clenching, a movement in the abdomen.
Okay, let's go with that. Clenching. Is the clenching a problem?
Is the clenching a problem?
Yeah.
Other than it feels uncomfortable, or there's
So from the perspective of the knower,
yeah,
have a look at that sensation
yeah.
and then allow yourself to relax with it and explore it. The task here is to get familiar with yourself so that when you look at these sensations, words, and images that constantly appear to you, you're not afraid of them.
Mm,
It's the only problem that we can actually have, and even this isn't a problem, but for the purposes of this, is avoidance of ourselves, avoidance of our separate self. And these separate self is words, images. You try to find something that's not a word, image, or a sensation, right? The stories around it create an emotion from those three things. When we let the story go, the emotions go, and we're left with pure sensation, that's a great step. And then when you look at those pure words, images, sensations, and when you look at those, you see that they're actually empty. So this is an inquiry into ourselves, especially when we have parts that feel heavy or dense.
Mhm.
We're just exploring it with a flashlight of awareness. And as you get more skilled at this, the mind's panic shuts off. But because you start to see nothing's changed. Like, even though right now you've mentioned that there's tension, there's the sense of disgust, there's clenching and images and other things, you're sitting there just being you. If you allow it just to be as it is, give yourself permission just to be, give your body mind position permission to be as it is. It's very hard for that to become a problem when it's been given permission.
So follow following this, like just the sensations alone, they are uncomfortable. Like there's just a sense of like, yes, they're uncomfortable. I want to cry. That's not a problem. Like
Mhm.
there's the right the emotions, just the sensations of the body, and right the stories do create the problem, or do make it manifest
Yeah,
as a problem, or how I want to see it.
yeah. When you describe it, it becomes a problem.
Right. So the story, right. So if I describe it, it becomes a problem. And I'm also like, well, how do I live in this world without stories? Like the stories are, I don't see
Hmm.
that that is something that I can
It's not.
eliminate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not without stories. It's not emphasizing the stories. Like, you're sitting there right now, and probably what you've learned in your life, as we all do, is you emphasize whatever's going on,
Mhm.
right? But all of it is just arising, abiding, and subsiding. It's very similar to what I was talking to about with Kajani, but different. You're getting on the trains. And I do understand that when things feel physical and they feel traumatic, then the tendency to get on that train is very, very high. But you can also just completely relax. When
Yes.
you relax as things are appearing, you extract the power from it. The more able you are able to sit as knowing presence with whatever's appearing in your body mind, you extract the equal amount of power from it. So I always say how benevolent and compassionate consciousness is, because, and I come from a very traumatized path. The more trauma that you have, the more freedom, love, and compassion it releases as you allow it to be. So you essentially, you stop running away from yourself. You stop running away from yourself. You just allow it to be. I'll give you an example. When I used to drink alcohol, I used to get a really bad hangover and feel awful the next day. And I was proud of it. And I would tell my buddies, oh man, I'm so messed up. But when I got the flu and I have the same exact experience, I'm like, oh no, oh, this is terrible. What am I like? One, it's just my approach to it. One, I welcome and I allow. The other one, I fight and resist.
Mhm.
So all of these appearances in and of themselves, they are just non-personal words, images, and sensations. And the only way we can learn to stop emphasizing these things in a way that creates suffering is to learn to relax while it's appearing. We don't deny it, we don't avoid it. We relax as consciousness and we welcome it. But we use insight. I always say this, we don't use willpower, we use insight. It's appearing as consciousness through consciousness, and then it resolves as consciousness and it doesn't leave a trace.
Mhm.
And this indwelling confidence starts to rise up. And this is the most profound healing process that you can go along. is you stop being afraid of your own bodily sensations, which we've all learned to do, be so scared of everything.
mm,
Just arising, abiding, subsiding, tingling, buzzing, niggling, clenching, expanding, flowing. And it's all the body's doing all the time. And
mhm,
we allow ourselves to relax, knowing that it's only awareness. It's like the vault of the sky, watching the clouds form as its own nature, because the sky starts where I'm sitting. It doesn't start up there. The sky starts where we're sitting, right? And the sky includes everything above the ground, all the storms, the rain, and then the vault of the sky just allows it all to be as it is. And that's it. It knows it's its own nature. Can a cloud hurt the sky? Your discomfort clenching, when you identify as the body, you think it can hurt you. But when you look at it as pure consciousness, does consciousness clench? Can knowing clench? Is the knowing of disgust disgusted? It's just knowing. So it's that shifting in identity that takes courage. I call it taking up the seat in the throne of wisdom. It's very majestic. You sit in the throne of your own wisdom, and you be extremely courageous to allow these appearances to come on, flow on by. And over time, you become more adept at this because you're just becoming more familiar. And if anybody wants a glimpse of their true nature, allowing a difficult sensation to arise, abide, and subside while you recognize you are what remains is powerful. So I think for you, a practice for now would be some neti neti. I am not this clenching. I am not this disgust. I am not these thoughts. I am not these feelings. This is a very good process just to start to really establish who you are. I'm not this passing entity. You can even say, I am not these thoughts because the thoughts go and I remain. I am not this pain because the pain goes and I remain. And just practice some of that to create a little bit of a clarity around who you actually are. If you try say it the other way, so you don't have to treat it like I'm preaching. You try it the other way. I am the pain. It's like, what? Who are you going to be when it goes?
right. It's kind of like taking the different perspective
Yeah,
and seeing
I'm
what
the pain. Oh, that's gone. Okay, so I'm the worry. Oh, well, that's gone as well now. So now I'm. It doesn't work, and it's very confirming. So you say, "I am what remains,"
Mhm.
and then when you do that for a bit, you start bringing it home. You can say, "I'm not this pain, and I welcome you always. You're totally allowed to be here. I could hang out with you for the rest of my life." And this dissolves all the fear around our own nature and sensations. And after a while, it just all settles down. Pains arise, pains go, they hurt, like pain hurts, obviously, but you're just not embroiled in it. You're not embroiled in it anymore. But sometimes you will be, and sometimes you won't be. But it's a path. Thank you for your question. I hope that was of some help.
It is. Thank you so much.